All right, today's class is going to focus on creating a flow, that vinyasa feeling, and a little bit on our transitions between poses and creating those as smooth and poses in themselves because they are. All right, let's get started in child's pose. Toes together and knees wide. The back of your mat. And start to settle into your breath. And as I figure out my stopwatch, start settling into your breath, breathing into all 360 degrees of your ribs. And if you've closed your eyes, open them again and let your focus to rest blurry on that same point on your mat right underneath you. Spread your toes wide, far apart from each other, and press the tops of your feet down into your mat. Unless you give yourself a foot cramp like I just did. Press the tops of your feet down into your mat, even the side of that little baby pinky toe. And walk your fingers a few more inches forward, pressing down and forward with your knuckles, pressing into that L shape between your thumb and your forefinger. And curl your toes and lift your hips high to downward facing dog. Bring a bend to your knees and your tummy in, raising your hips up to the ceiling. Then drop your weight down heavy through your heels so that your back is in one long line. You have space for your chest in between your hands. Walk them out a little bit wider if you feel any pinching in your shoulders. And breathe here. Look forward between your hands and walk to the top of your mat. Place your feet about 2 fists apart, as wide as your hips. And grab your opposite triceps with either hand, coming into your ragdoll pose. Send your breath through your body and identify any areas of tightness, any areas you may have worked out hard today. And send your breath there. Send your vitality there. And go ahead and switch your grip and grab your arms the other way. These initial poses in this integration series are a great way to take stock of what's going on in your body today before we really start moving and shaking. It's not like you have to do anything with that information, but just start to notice. Use your breath to bring awareness to those areas. Release your grip and heel toe your feet together. Inhale to halfway lift, reaching your chest and the crown of your head forward. And exhale to fold, bringing the crown of your head down. Let's do one more of those. Inhale to halfway lift, reaching long with a flat spine. And exhale to fold forward. And then this inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Bringing your arms high overhead. And exhale your hands to heart center. We'll open with our own. So we'll take a big inhale. Inhale and reach up, look up between your hands. And exhale, fold with soft knees. Allowing the crown of your head to come down, your hips up at the end.
Stand up.
Inhale to halfway lift, extending long. And exhale to fold. And once more, inhale to extend your spine long with a flat back. And exhale, plant your hands down and step back to high plank. Option is always to modify and come down to your knees here if your hips are sagging or if you're piking them up. Otherwise, claw down with your fingertips, press down with the balls of your feet, and back through your heels to activate all the muscles in your arms and legs. Inhale, rock forward over your fingers, and exhale to lower halfway down, keeping your elbows at your sides. Inhale into upward facing dog, bursting your chest through your shoulders, and exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. And now we'll flow our sun A's, one breath per movement. And just keep moving through these. Your form's not perfect, nobody cares. This is just a warm up to match your breath with movement and start to find a place in your own body. Inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, look up, and exhale, fold, leading with your heart. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale, up dog, and exhale, down dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, extended mountain pose, and exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale, dog, and exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up, and exhale, softly come down. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. And one last time through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Inhale, rise up, look up between your hands, and exhale, come all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. And now that we're through our sun A's, we'll move on to our sun B series and start to open our hips and waken up both thighs. Inhale, look forward, and exhale to step or jump to your hands. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Hips come low, hands come high, sit back into your chair pose. Lift and spread all 10 of your toes and press your heels forward so that you have the counterweight to sink those hips back. Inhale, raise your chest up, and exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, step or jump back, high plank to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. Right foot steps forward, left heel spins down. Come on up into warrior one. And stay. Send your breath to any areas on your body that may be tight. Expand with your inhales and exhale to hug in your abs. Hug in those major muscles on your arms and legs right to the bone. Inhale to reach up and exhale, come all the way down. Flow high to low. Inhale, up dog. And exhale to down dog. Left foot steps forward, root to rise. Come all the way up. And exhale to stay. And on this side, continue to use your breath to explore your body. Identify areas where it may be different than your right side, and that's okay too. There are very, very few people in this world who have their bodies evenly spaced on both sides, and they've been training in this stuff in gymnastics and Cirque du Soleil and all that crap since they were kids. That's why the rest of us do yoga. Inhale, look up between your hands, and exhale, flow down, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to down dog. And now we'll flow those sun bees. One breath per movement. Once again, focusing on the flow and linking poses together. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Inhale to chair pose. And exhale, come all the way down. Halfway lift. And exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale to down dog. Warrior one on the right side. Inhale to rise. And exhale, bring your hands down, higher low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Left foot comes forward. Inhale on, up. And exhale to come down, high to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Let's flow the next two on our own in the interest of linking all of our own breath to our own movement. And you can always check the monitor. If you get lost, I'll be doing them right there with you. So go ahead and get started, 2 rounds. And after you've done your 2 rounds, we'll meet back in downward facing dog together. It is warm here today at the end of July. So I'm not quite sure why I sound a little bit surprised about that, but here we are. So, all meeting in downward facing dog here. Inhale and lift your right heel high. Press down firmly through your fingertips. Extend all of that power you get from the earth out of your right heel. Sink your left heel down and bring a soft bend to that knee. And then bend your right knee and stack and open up those hips. Squeeze your outer hips to pull your tailbone up toward the ceiling behind you. Either stay here in this hip opener or flip over into your flip dog. Take your right hand and bring it under your left rib to square yourself up, and then reach behind you walking your gaze to a spot on that wall. And we'll flip over back to high plank and then side plank with your right hand down and left hand lifting up. Inhale your left foot high. Bring your knee into your chest and then step down next to that right hand and inhale up into crescent lunge on the left. However many steps it takes you to get there, that's great. And walk your feet apart a bit. So your right heel stacks right over your toes. You can really sink down into that left leg, pulling your butt back and pushing that right hip forward to open up that stretch. Bring your hands to heart center and twist open to the left. Press your knee and your elbow into your knee to give you that traction to really open up your spine as you turn to look at the ceiling over your left shoulder. Woo! And if you fall down, great. Come right back in. That's called finding your edge. Release and come back to center. And then launch forward into your airplane pose. So we're on our left foot with our right behind us. Chest extended forward. Woo! Between our chest extended forward between our shoulders. Pinkies reaching together on our back behind us. Then we're going to do kind of an interesting move here. We're going to pivot on our left foot. Reach behind us with our right and come into warrior two at the back of your mat. So we're in warrior two on our right side here. Taking a little more unusual way to get to this today. And using our breath to keep us in flow, even through the unexpected. Reverse your warrior, bringing your left palm up behind you. And exhale, come into extended side angle. Reaching your left hand high over you and turning your right rib cage under so your chest opens up to the ceiling. You can bring your gaze up to the rafters of your garage, in my case, or wherever you're looking at up there. Press your heels together on the mat to give your hips the freedom to swing that right butt under you here. And release, bring your hands to the mat. Come into your low lunge, right foot facing forward, and inhale up into an easy twist. We're just here for a couple breaths. Then bring your right hand down, spin your left heel down, and come into a long pyramid. Inhale forward into that lunge, and exhale back into a long pyramid. If your heel doesn't get on the ground, that's okay. We'll do this a couple more times. Inhale forward into the lunge, and exhale back into the pyramid. Forward to the lunge, and back to the pyramid. And then turn to the middle and sink down onto your left leg. So you're squatting on your left leg and your right is extended long. Hands at heart center. And release, hands down. Come into a wide-legged, side-facing bend. And bring your hands to either the outside of your heels or grab your toes with your peace sign fingers. And recover your breath here. Spin your inner thighs back to the wall behind you. And bring your belly in to allow the crown of your head to drop even farther so that your spine releases. And crawl your hands over to your left foot. Come into a high plank. Inhale here to lengthen. Exhale to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. So you kind of know where we're going now. While they may have felt a little weird, some unusual transitions, we're building some new neural pathways, using our breath to get through it. And after all, yoga is really just breathing. So let's do it all over again on the left. Inhale your left heel high. Press down and forward through your hands to lengthen those side bodies, pressing way out through that heel. Bring a soft bend to your right knee and sink that heel down toward the ground so your whole body's stretching out. Then bend your left knee and stack and open up your hips. Squeeze your outer hips in to really get the length even in that tailbone part of your spine, even over the whale of that ambulance behind me. Then either stay here or flip your dog. Bring your left hand under your right rib to even your sides out. Then reach over, walking your gaze down the wall to find a point behind you to focus on. And come back over into high plank. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, side plank on your left side. Right hand to the sky. Inhale your right leg high. Bring your knee into your chest and step it forward. Coming into crescent lunge on your right side. And go ahead and wiggle your feet apart so that your heel is stacked right over your toes. You can sink down deep into that right leg. Give me a nice stretch to your left hip flexor. Bring your hands to heart center and twist on over to your right. Press your elbow into your knee into your elbow, so you have the leverage to turn and look over your right shoulder. Release up to center, and then launch forward, woo, into your airplane pose. And if your right leg is shaking like a leaf, you're doing it right. We push ourselves to the edge, so that eventually we find a new edge. Once the hard parts become easier, then we can start expanding and learning more and doing more. Woo. All right, let me get back into airplane a second, and then we'll try that fun maneuver where we turn and reach and come into our warrior two at the back of our mat. Both my hips just popped and it feels great. Yay, yoga. Flip your left hand over, inhale up and back, reverse your warrior. And exhale, come into an extended side angle. Reaching your right hand forward, spiraling your ribs underneath you so your chest opens up to the ceiling. And turn and look up. Squeezing your heels together on your mat so you can fit that left butt cheek right underneath you. And breathe deeply to all 360 degrees of your rib cage. And release both hands down. And inhale your left hand high into an easy twist. Bring your gaze to look up to the ceiling, following that left thumb. And then bring your hands down and plant your right heel to come back into the pyramid, or as close as your right heel gets. I know it may not come to the ground this long pyramid. Then inhale forward into our low lunge, and exhale into our long pyramid. We'll do two more of these. Inhale forward to our low lunge, and exhale into our pyramid. Inhale into our low lunge, exhale into our pyramid, and this time we'll squat low on our left leg. Oops, did we do left or right first? Onto our right leg, I don't even remember which side we did. Extending the left lung, whichever one you didn't do on the other side, if you can feel for it. And bring your hands down and release, turning your toes slightly in and taking that wide leg side facing forward bend. Take any grip you want, hands on the outside of your ankles, grab for those big toes or reach for the opposite end of your mat. And breathe into the areas where you really need this stretch. One of the discoveries I've recently made about my own practice is that the inside of my left thigh is so much tighter than the inside of my right thigh that I've been doing this pose very unevenly because it felt even. And yeah, now I'm back in a different world here, having discovered that with my breath yesterday when I was leading y'all. And walk your hands forward to your right foot and come into a high plank and exhale down into a low plank. Inhale into upward facing dog and exhale hips high, downward facing dog. Let's do a clearing breath. So take a big inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. We'll do another one of those since it's hot out and it's muggy. Inhale through your nose and exhale. Let something out. And then inhale, look forward between your hands. Exhale, step or jump to get there. Inhale to halfway lift and exhale to fold. Drop those hips low, raise those hands high, and come on into chair pose. Hug those outer hips in so you have the stability to find even more of a back bend in your chest and upper back. And bring your hands to heart center and twist over to the right. Press your knee into your elbow and your elbow into your knee. And bring that left hip back if it's sneaking forward. Spread your arms open like wings, reaching out through both sets of fingertips, spreading your energy from floor to ceiling, shooting out way past your actual fingers. Then either stay here or take side crow. Coming up onto the balls of your feet and sinking your hips down to place your hands shoulder width apart. And resting the outside of your right thigh on your left elbow. Start to bring your legs up and extend them out. Two more breaths here. And come back to center. Meeting in chair for a moment to reset. And then exhale, fold over your feet. Split them apart as wide as your hips. And grab your big toes and your peace sign fingers. Inhale to halfway lift. And exhale to fold. Tucking your chin softly to drop the crown of your head heavy toward the ground below you. Release your toes and heel toe your feet together. Lift and spread all 10 of your toes. Just turn your little legs back on, maybe wiggle your knees back and forth. Wiggle those hips back and forth, get out of any stiffness. Inhale to halfway lift and exhale to fold. Drop your hips low and bring your hands high, coming into chair pose. And exhale to hold. Hug those outer hips in so you can raise your heart up to the ceiling, finding your back bend. Then bring your hands to heart center and twist to the left. Press your knee into your elbow and your elbow into your knee so you can extend your spine long and turn to find that spot on the ceiling in which to focus your gaze. Bring your right hip back, get snuck forward. And then spread your little wings. Let's fly on this side. Extend your energy out through those fingertips. Think of it as shooting way beyond your actual physical body. And even imagining that will help you to extend further. You realize maybe you've been shutting yourself off a little bit once you try this. The mental game is such an important part. And then, it's in your practice today, you give it a shot on the other side. Go ahead and bring your hands down, shoulder width apart for side crow. Start to lean your chest forward and extend those legs out, balancing your left thigh on your right elbow. And 2 more breaths here. And then release. Coming back to chair to even ourselves out and reset for a moment here. And then exhale, fold over your feet. Spread them apart once more and slide your upturned hands underneath your feet. Bring your abs in to raise your hips high. So you drop the crown of your head down. Use the contact of your hands and feet to pull the crown of your head closer to the ground. And release your grip and bring your feet out to the edges of your mat, toes turned out, hands to heart center for a Malasana squat. And press your elbows out to the inside of your thighs to deepen this hip opener and drop your tailbone down as you pull the front of your pelvis up and find a spot on the wall high in front of you, which to place your gaze, your drishti. Push your butt up to release and come into a forward fold. Heel toe your feet together and inhale to halfway lift and exhale to fold. And inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Bringing your arms overhead. And exhale your arms into a mountain pose for just a minute here. So the 4 corners of your feet ground firmly down into the earth. Press down through your heels. We often spend a lot of time on the balls of our feet just because of our pelvic tilt and swing down all day. So in this mountain pose, press down through your heels and bring the front of your pelvis up. So you bring your front ribs together and express your heart upward. Raise the crown of your head like there's a little string pulling from there and externally rotate your hands to stand in your full power here. Now raise your hands over your head and bring your right knee up into your chest. Bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee and turn to look over your shoulder at your right thumbnail. Inhale to expand and exhale to hug in to stay strong in this dancing Shiva pose. And release, come to center. And exhale to come down into a standing split. Raising your right heel to the ceiling. Then we're going to do some Shiva squats here. As long as we're dancing like Shiva, why don't we get strong like Shiva? So inhale your right heel high and exhale to squat. Bringing it just behind your left calf across your body. Inhale to raise it up high and exhale to squat. Bringing it just behind your left calf. Inhale to raise, exhale to squat. We've got two more of these. Inhale to raise, exhale, squat. Inhale to raise, exhale to squat. Come back into a standing split. Bring your heel up so high, and then release, forward fold. Give your legs a little shake out back and forth. Bend one knee, bend the other. Jiggle your hips around. Inhale to halfway lift with a flat back, and exhale to fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. And let's reset in our mountain pose for a minute. Find some grounding by breathing into our feet as they make contact with the earth. Raising our head up so we're in one long straight line. And then inhale your arms overhead. Bring your left knee up into your chest. Take your right hand to the outside of your left leg and turn to look over your left shoulder to place your gaze on that left thumbnail and breathe. Inhale to expand and exhale to hug in. It's the key to doing any pose, whether it's yoga or sitting while you're driving, doing a backflip into a swimming pool, is that expansion and contraction with the breath. Whoops. Release and come to center. And exhale, hinge down into a standing split. Bringing your left leg up high behind you. And then we're going to do our Shiva squats on this side. So inhale to raise that leg up and exhale to squat, bringing your left knee to the outside of your right calf. Inhale to raise up and exhale to squat. 3 more. Inhale, raise up high and exhale, squat. Inhale, raise high. Exhale to squat. Final one. Inhale, raise so high. Exhale to squat. Lift up one more time into your standing split. Bringing that left leg as high as possible. And then exhale, release, forward fold. Jiggle your legs out. Wiggle those hips out. And inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. One more of those. Inhale, halfway lift. And then exhale, step or jump back, high to low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Woo! I think those Shiva squats are super fun, and I'm literally the only person I met who thinks that. But I hope I find another one someday. Let's do another big clearing breath here before we move on to grounding. So big inhale through your nose, and exhale through your mouth. Then lift your right heel high. And then exhale, bring it to step next to your right hand. Pivot your left heel down and come on up into warrior one. This may feel a little bit different than they did at the beginning of class. That's an amazing, amazing thing. We've done a lot of work with our bodies. Inhale, lift your chest up, and exhale, open up to warrior two. Inhale, go up and back with your right hand as you straighten out that leg. And exhale, reach forward as far as you can before coming down into triangle pose. Send your hips back toward the wall behind you by squeezing your inner thighs together for stability. Wrap your right rib cage underneath you so you can turn your chest to look up at the ceiling. And release, fold over your right leg. You can move your left foot if you need to, but try this on your own first. Inhale your right hand high to come into a really long, twisted triangle. We usually come in here fresh from pyramid pose, and our feet are a little bit closer together. But this gives me a better IT band stretch on the other side of my leg, so I thought I'd try this out today. And release down. We'll do one more wide leg, side-facing fold here. So come on down. And if it's in your practice today, go ahead and try for that tripod headstand. So place your hands down, shoulder width apart. Keep your elbows hugged in. Place your head on the ground. If that's as far as you get today, great. Otherwise, use your abs to start to pick those feet up and balance in your little headstand. Go ahead and come down with control, placing your feet back on the ground. Inhale halfway up with a flat back. Pivot your left foot toward the back of your mat and step your right foot to the side. Inhaling up into warrior one. Once again, take note of how this warrior one has changed since you first popped it at the beginning of our sun bees at the start of class. Inhale your chest high and exhale, open up into warrior two to the left. We've done some switching around in class today. I kind of like to change the scenery. One wall, this garage gets boring. Inhale your left palm up and back as you straighten your left leg. And exhale, come as far forward as possible before coming down into your triangle pose. Squeeze those inner thighs together to shoot your hips toward the wall behind you. As you rotate your left rib cage under to open your chest to the ceiling. And release, fold over your left leg. Once again, moving your feet as necessary to get into your best version of this pose. Inhale on up into a twisted triangle. I'm once again trying on the longer version of this pose. Kind of stretch here. May not look great, but it feels amazing. And that's the most important thing here. Two more big breaths here. And bring your hands down. And come into a high plank. Inhale, come forward, and exhale into low plank. Inhale to upward facing dog. And exhale, hips high, downward facing dog. And bring your knees to the mat and set up for camel pose. Place your hands at your low back, like you're sticking them in your back pockets. And your toes can be curled under here for a plantar stretch, or you can put your toes down to get a stretch on the front of your ankle. Inhale the front of your pelvis high, and inhale your heart high, starting to reach the crown of your head back, finding a back bend here. If you're feeling up to it, you can release your hands down to start reaching for your heels in this pose. Tuck your chin and carefully come back up. And exhale, sink down on your heels. Resting your hands on your thighs. Up to receive energy and palms down for grounding. And prepare for our second camel. Bring your hands to your back pockets again. Bring the front of your pelvis up. Squeezing your hip bones forward as you start to go back and find your back bend. Take note and send breath into your upper back, then your mid back. See if you're bending from one place more than the other, or if there's other places where you could find some bend in your spine. You tuck your chin and carefully come up. And exhale, sink down onto your heels. Once again, placing your hands on your thighs, palms up or palms down. And come onto your back for a bridge pose. Set up with your heels directly under your knees, stacking those joints for support. And walk your shoulder blades underneath you. And inhale to come up. Clasp your hands behind you and pull them towards your heels as you pull your heels towards your hands so that you can raise your hip points up to the ceiling. And exhale, release, come down. And your choice here, wheel or bridge. We've got 3 more back bends to go. So bridge or wheel, inhale to come up. Regardless of which one you've chosen, squeeze your inner knees together. And exhale to release, come all the way down. Big inhale here. Big exhale. Place your hands by your ears and come on up into wheel. Press your hands into the ground. Press your feet into the ground. And from that power, find a lift in the rest of your body. The inhale to expand and exhale to contract all over again. And exhale, release, come down. We'll have a chance to try it. Our last and final wheel here. Get ready, get psyched. And inhale to come up. And exhale, release, come all the way down. Place the soles of your feet together and your low back flat on the ground for Supta Baddha Konasana. One hand on your low belly and the other on your heart. And appreciate yourself. for the work you've done today, inside and outside of class, for making it to yoga. And release your feet on up to a happy baby, capturing the outside of your feet with your hands. And breathe into your hamstrings here. It's a great way to practice plastering your low back to the ground. It's pretty natural to do in this pose. And release your feet and grab the backs of your legs. Hug those low abs in. And then rock and roll. And rock and roll. And at the end of your third rock, come on up to boat pose. Everyone's old favorite. Inhale your arms up over your head to up level and straighten your legs to up level, get your heart rate going. Or bring your hands to the backs of your legs for a little bit of additional support. No matter where you are, hug your abs in and breathe. Five more breaths. And now bring your hands together at heart center. We're going to do 10 Russian twists. So touch the ground on either side of you for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Rock and roll and end up in half pigeon on your right side, swinging your left leg behind you, pressing the top of that foot into the ground to square your hips before leaning over into your pigeon. Take your tongue off the roof of your mouth and release your jaw. Relax your face. It's easy to get wound up and tense after doing boats or really any pose with a long hold like that, including these half pigeons. We do a longer hold, a lot of tensions can come up. And you think you're releasing them, they just manifest themselves in other ways. So use your breath to bring attention to where you may be holding on to things in your body that are serving you in this pose. And gently press up and switch sides. Bring your left leg forward and your right leg back. Pressing into that right foot to square your hips, pulling that left hip back, and then folding over into your half pigeon pose. And press on up to a seat. And bring your right foot to the inside of your left thigh for a seated single leg extension. Inhale your arms high overhead, grounding your sit bones down and reaching the crown of your head high. And then exhale to turn and fold with your chest over your left leg, reaching forward for that foot. You can engage your quadricep to let your hamstring know it can release and deepen your stretch. And release, come on up, and switch sides, placing your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Inhale to reach up, grounding your sit bones down to find a little more space between the vertebrae of your spine. And exhale, turn and fold over your right leg. Inhale, come on all the way up. Bring your legs in front of you. Move your gifts out of the way. Smack your legs on the ground a little bit. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Just a brief one here, so come right into it. Release, roll all the way up. And come on down to your back. Forward inversion. Shoulder stand with your hands at your low back, or just tuck your hands underneath your butt to give your hips a little boost up in a waterfall pose. If you're in shoulder stand, carefully and with control, bring your feet behind you. And if they touch the ground, press on them to extend your hips high, sending the energy beyond your hips and beyond your heels. So lengthen out your legs as much as possible. And then release your knees by your ears for death band's pose. Once again with control, roll all the way down onto your back, bringing your legs long in front of you. And set up for a brief spinal twist. Bring your right knee into your chest, give it a squeeze, and bring it on over to the left side, turning to look over your right thumbnail. Release, come to center, switch sides. Bring your left knee in, extending your right leg long. Then bring your left leg over your body, turning to look over your left shoulder and at that thumbnail. Just like we did in dancing Shiva when we were standing earlier. How about that? And release, come to center. Give yourself one final squeeze, a little smooch on the knees. And then release into your final Shavasana. Feel the power and goodness of the earth holding you up. In a moment, we'll come out together to finish up the practice. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Bringing these small movements up your arms and legs. Roll your head back and forth. Then come on to your right or left side, cradling your head on your arm and bringing your knees up to your chest. Keeping your eyes softly closed, press up to a seat. Bring your hands to heart center. Press your thumbs into your sternum and your chest back into your thumbs. And inhale your thumbs to your third eye center. The light in me sees and bows to the light in each one of you. Namaste. Ahoo! Thank you, everyone.